Hey there, StarCraft 2 fans, and welcome back to the final game between Cheeseblock and Mouse in the Kraft tournament. This is game number 15 of the tournament, so this will be the last match. This is the ace match between these two players, so I'm looking forward to a very good game. Both of these players, very good Terran players. Here in the bottom right-hand corner of Jungle Basin, we do have Cheeseblock, the pink Terran, and in the upper left-hand corner, we do have Mouse, the blue Terran. So, Jungle Basin, a particularly interesting map. You see a lot of two-base play, particularly some type of macro play, simply because this backdoor expansion is so easy to take, fairly easy to guard, specifically with Terran, a couple siege tanks at this backdoor, going to defend these rocks from being broken down by the opposing Terran player. A very early scout coming out here from Mouse, so very interesting to see if he's just going to tuck that away back in Cheeseblock's base, or if he has some other intention with this early scout. Now we do see the supply depot going down for Cheeseblock, very close to his command center, so no interesting play going on there, very standard. He's going to go ahead and push out with his SCV and see what he can do. We do see the SCV for Mouse doing a little bit of a dance here on the high ground. Is going to spot that SCV moving out from Cheeseblock, so probably wants to make sure that he doesn't get spotted. I'm not exactly sure what his plans are. Perhaps he's going to drop a barracks up here. That would be a very interesting play from Mouse. We do see he does now have 150 minerals, and there is the barracks on the high ground. Immediately rallies that barracks to Cheeseblock's ramp, so definitely going to see some type of very interesting play here. He does throw up the barracks in his main, so he is going to completely catch Cheeseblock off guard. Cheeseblock going to spot this barracks and think that everything is A-okay and there are no problems. Little does he know, there is a barracks outside his main. He is going to be in a little bit of trouble here. Like I was saying, on Jungle Basin with those backdoor expansions, typically it turns into macro games, but with this early aggression from Mouse, it's hard to say if he's going to be able to finish the game early or if he does want to take this into a longer match. The third for Terrans typically on this map is this high ground center expansion here, and that's mainly because it's so easy to defend with a planetary fortress. This is low ground, this is low ground. Some siege tanks can easily defend this area and this area. Even with the watchtowers, it's fairly easy to defend. So we do have the SCV retreating here. Potentially could spot that barracks if he gets just close enough. We'll take a look over at Cheeseblock's view real quick to see what this SCV sees, and all he sees, unfortunately, is his untimely death. So that SCV goes down very quickly. That's his initial scouting SCV, so a couple of SCVs just kind of setting up camp over here. We do have one Marine being produced, no longer has him rallied to the front door. These two Marines will easily be able to hold off this one Marine and SCV. However, another Marine joining the party, and Cheeseblock could be in a little bit of trouble here. Taking a look over at the income tab, we do see that the harvester count for Mouse is slightly lower, obviously because he's cutting Marines to go for that initial aggression. We do have 3 Marines versus 3 Marines and an SCV, so I think unfortunately Mouse is going to be quickly repelled here. That pressure is not going to do anything. That high ground vision that Cheeseblock has, those Marines are perfectly placed right at the edge of that ramp, very much able to spot the low ground before Mouse can even get up there and see what is shooting him. He has no idea, I don't even believe how many Marines are up at the top of that ramp right now. So, yeah, it's actually, for a second I thought he was going to land the barracks in Cheeseblock's base, which would be a very interesting play. He could actually put it up here on the high ground, pump out a few Marines and move them down into the main, do some damage. Here he's going to try pressure again. He does have quite a few more Marines this time. However, I don't know how much damage he's going to be able to do. He is actually scooting and shooting quite well, and he does get in the base with 4 Marines. One is at 9 health, so maybe not going to be able to do a whole lot, but he is going to be able to put on a lot of initial pressure here. The barracks pumping out a couple Marines. That SCV that's in production actually has stopped now. The starport is no longer producing anything. We could see an early end of this game. These 4 Marines coming out. 1 Marine pops out for Cheeseblock, not able to do anything. The siege tank does come out here, able to get a couple good shots off before the Marines are able to do anything. Another couple good shots off before those Marines are able to do any sort of attack. And now the siege tank able to take out all of those Marines. So very nice play by Cheeseblock there, able to defend his main that well. However, we do see Mouse quite a bit ahead in terms of minerals, simply because Cheeseblock was not mining for so long, and now he does have his gas on the way as well. He is still a couple SCVs behind, so I don't think that Mouse was able to do the economic damage that he wanted there. He was able to take out a few Marines, he was able to take out the SCV producing the starport and definitely delay that, but he didn't get an expansion up in that time. His factory is delayed behind what Cheeseblock's doing, and he doesn't even have a starport on the way, so he is a little bit behind in terms of technology, and that could play a big part later in this game if Cheeseblock's able to assert his dominance early on. However, the income now very different from these two players. We do see that Mouse going for more minerals, less gas, whereas Cheeseblock obviously going for a higher gas. So definitely going to assert that technology early on with both of these refineries producing. We do have a reactor going down now for the starport, so we are going to see more Tank Viking play out of Cheeseblock. He was very successful with this in the first match. Was able to take out Mouse's Viking somehow, and then basically just push across the map, take out all the SCVs with his airplay, using those medevac drops to great effect. We do have a Hellion coming down around here. Looks like it might actually scout the back door. A couple of Marauders as well. Those are going to be very effective at breaking down these rocks quite quickly. We do see the Hellion pushing across now. It's going to start working its way to doing some damage on these rocks. However, unfortunately, only doing 5 damage at a time because these do have 3 armor. So that's going to take about 20 years to break down there. So that's not a scientific number. I just guessed. We do have the one SCV hanging out here at the top of the ramp with a few siege tanks. 4 siege tanks now. Siege mode not complete yet, however he does have it just starting. So scan going down from Mouse, going to spot exactly what's going on. He's going to see the same thing he saw before when these two players matched up in game 1. So I'm going to know that he's going for some type of Tank Viking play. If we take a look over the production tab, we do see siege mode now on the way for Mouse as well. A little bit delayed behind what Cheeseblock's doing. However, Cheeseblock also getting up that early expansion over what Mouse is doing, and that could play a huge role. Cheeseblock going to get that extra mineral income. Unfortunately for Cheeseblock, these two Marauders, these two pesky Marauders, are just behind far enough to cause a problem, and they're going to be able to break these rocks down quite easily, and that could play a huge part later in the game if Mouse is able to bring some Hellions around the backside and really do a lot of damage to these SCVs here. That could be a huge blow to what Cheeseblock's trying to accomplish here. He does bring the Hellion in and manages to get it past several tanks before it's finally taken out. Does get a couple shots off on the SCVs, but no significant damage done. One Viking out now, as well as a couple tanks here and a couple at the bottom of his ramp. It's actually going to go ahead and push forward. Does have one Viking, one SCV, and a handful of Marines. Just checking around the map, doing a little bit of scouting, trying to get some map control. Unfortunately, Mouse does have his Marine on the high ground, so Mouse is able to spot exactly what's going on, knows that he's safe from attack, and probably going to choose to go ahead and throw it on his expansion now. It doesn't have quite enough minerals yet, but I would like to see that come up very quickly. Otherwise, he could be in a little bit of trouble from an economic standpoint. If he gets too far behind, he will not be able to catch up. He is actually supply blocked at the moment, so a couple of supply depots going down. Supply block, obviously not something you want to happen, but does from time to time. Continue to pump out those siege tanks. We do see siege mode is done for both players, so that's definitely going to play a pretty large role. We do have the reactor now for the starport, so we're going to start pumping out those Vikings, and what it's going to come to now is basically who can assert the most air control, who can keep control of the skies and really give vision to those siege tanks, allow them to do a lot of damage. We do see that Mouse does have vision over both watchtowers, so very good play from him, capable of holding those watchtowers for such a long time, able to see these Vikings pushing across the map. Getting a couple shots off on that one Viking, obviously not going to do a whole lot of damage because it is just one Marine versus 3 Vikings. The Vikings actually not even landing to take out that Marine. I'm surprised by that. That would be such an easy kill for him, basically a free shot. But we do see the Vikings actually pushing up here to the back door. He's going to definitely check and see if there's an expansion. And I think he's going to be very pleased to see that no expansion has gone down just yet. The expansion from Cheeseblock, now fully operational, and does have some SCVs down here mining, not a lot. Most of his SCVs still up here in the main, still mining that double gas, and one refinery down here at his natural expansion. The Vikings now making their way around the map. They probably have spotted from that vision from that Zellnagel watchtower these 2 tanks that have set up camp here, along with this group of units that's camped out here at the high ground. So this is definitely a very imposing force. Quite a few Marauders here, and those can definitely do quite a lot of damage, even if these Vikings land. Because they are armored. Marauders obviously do quite a bit of damage versus armored units. A lot of tanks down here from Cheeseblock though. A couple, actually only one that's unsieged, but they're very grouped up, so I don't know if I like that play. I would like to see them a little bit more grouped out. The Vikings could definitely cause a problem with this just by landing in there, and could really create a bit of trouble. We do have 3 Marines going down here from Cheeseblock. Probably not a good idea to hold a watchtower with 3 Marines solo, because those Marines are going to very easily be taken out. He is setting up quite a force here. Does have a nice tank line built across, and he's going to continue to very slowly inch his way forward. He does only have 3 Vikings, so I don't know how much air control he's going to be able to assert. We do have quite a few more Vikings from Cheeseblock. However, Cheeseblock decimating these Marines and Marauders, and able to just do an incredible amount of damage, mainly because these Vikings were able to give enough vision to allow that army to swing around the side and just get shelled away. So I think that Mouse is going to be looking to retreat here fairly soon. Only 4 tanks versus, oh my goodness, 8 tanks sitting here, so definitely going to be able to do a lot of damage. We did notice that Cheeseblock did lose several Marines down here at the bottom of the ramp, or the top of the ramp, excuse me, mainly because he just moved a little bit too close in range of those tanks and again got shelled away. That's just an unfortunate casualty of war when those siege tanks are at the back lines. They can just so easily get shot down. We do have the Vikings on patrol here. The reason for doing this is mainly to allow them to instantly shoot. What will happen is the Vikings, when they're on patrol like this, if a target comes within range, all 4 will shoot at once at one target. That enables them to instantly take out a target and really do a lot of damage all at once. We do have the orbital command on the way now from Mouse, so he is finally getting that expansion up. I think I would like to see, yes, very good play from Cheeseblock, get that expansion up, go ahead and fly this out to the center of the map, set up that planetary fortress, set up that very easily defendable Terran wall, and really start mining those minerals like crazy. Get a lot of income that way. From Mouse, we do have a slight push down here from the bottom. Does have a few Vikings, 5 tanks. I'm not sure how much damage he's really going to be able to do here. If he's able to take out these destructible rocks, get those siege tanks set up at the back door here, he could be able to do a lot of damage. But the siege tanks could be set up as well over here for Cheeseblock and really be able to defend this area quite easily. So we'll see how this plays out. These tanks are going to push in here, probably going to knock out the sensor tower right away, because right now Cheeseblock's able to see exactly what's going on. Sensor tower under attack, now it's down. That supply depot going to almost instantly go down. The rocks are going to go down quite quickly, and Cheeseblock is actually going to elect to push across the map, knowing that Mouse's main force is actually across the map. He does have a couple siege tanks here at the top of the ramp. That could cause a little bit of trouble if Cheeseblock isn't careful. Actually, Cheeseblock now electing to go ahead and retreat. The siege tank set up. He does have all the SCVs pulled away. Going to lift off the command center. Probably a good idea. Doesn't want to lose it to any unnecessary faults. And we do have the command center has halted production now, unfortunately, because of the SCV dying. So it will be some time before that's started again, mainly because he doesn't want to commit any SCVs to doing that just at the moment until he knows he can adequately defend. Does pull all the SCVs back down here to begin mining again. Does have quite a few, 25 SCVs here working. Does need to get an SCV up here to finish this expansion as soon as possible. The faster he can get that second expansion up, the more damage he'll be able to do. We do have a drop coming over here from Cheeseblock. He does have several Marines going to drop here at the natural expansion. Let's see how quickly Mouse is able to recover from this. He is losing several SCVs. Looks like he lost about 4 or 5 there before he was able to recover. And actually just pulling them just far enough away for the Marines to continue attacking. These Marines coming over here, they are able to adequately defend with help from the siege tank. However, the splash damage there doing quite a bit of damage to those SCVs as well. Taking a look over at the income tab, we do see that Cheeseblock is very much ahead in terms of SCV count. Income is just massively ahead, mainly because those units did have to stop mining for such a short time. A couple of units on patrol here. This medevac definitely going to need to retreat back to base, get some repairs, heal up that one Marine that's left inside. Oh, and losing a medevac there. It looked like it had a siege tank in it, so definitely not good play, not what you want to see. And a couple siege tanks moving just a little bit too close here, and the siege tanks for Cheeseblock shelling away, really knocking those out. However, I believe Mouse has now started air control, and those Vikings are just getting destroyed. And now that Mouse has both air control and high ground vision, he's going to be able to do a lot of damage, but unwisely Mouse runs all of his Marines and Marauders down into that ramp, and oh my goodness, he lost so many units right there. Cheeseblock going to go ahead and push forward, and unfortunately Mouse has made a couple missteps here where he lost a good portion of his army. I think this is going to draw the game out a bit more than it needs to, but the Marines flying in here, and the medevac lost several Marines there in that medevac. This medevac going to go down as well. All those Marines going down. Didn't even take out but one siege tank, and all the siege tank for Cheeseblock now gone. Unfortunately for Mouse, he would be able to basically take the game right now if he had not lost that Marine Marauder force right there, and then all the Vikings that flew down here. He lost so many units there. It was really not a good move for him. Cheeseblock going to move up here. He does have a few siege tanks, does have a couple Marauders, does have a Viking, so he does have a little bit of defense. But unfortunately, I think he could be in a little bit of trouble here. Mouse is just stair-stepping his way forward. He is scanning the top of the ramp just to make sure that these tanks aren't going to be a problem. He sees that they're not in siege mode, and these Vikings are going to basically be able to one-shot this Viking here. He does have it on patrol. Boom, one shot. Oh, almost kills it. Does take it out there, but the Marines pushing forward. However, these siege tanks are going to be able to just decimate this army. We do see the siege tanks just shelling away now. All these siege tanks are going to go down. This one siege tank here could go down, mainly because this one's blasting away at it. But it looks like it will not. That siege tank survives. Does have a couple here at the top of the ramp, and that's basically his last line of defense. He was able to take out this, Cheeseblock was able to take out this one siege tank over here, but unfortunately that's not exactly what he needed. These tanks being taken out by these siege tanks here, or excuse me, these Vikings that had landed, trying to take out that siege tank, but just didn't quite get it. Would like to see a scan now on the high ground to get this tank. One scan could go down, and I think, no, I guess it's just out of range. These Marines and Marauders are just getting too close to the fight, trying to take out those Vikings. So a typical Terran battle here, just back and forth with these tank lines. We did see that Cheeseblock has thrown up his expansion over here. He does have, calling down a few mules as well, does have the orbital command fully set up. So he's going to go ahead and rally several SCVs over there. Looks like about 16 SCVs or so. His main is nearly mined out. Does need to get these SCVs moved off because many of them are not doing anything at all. These mineral fields are nearly mined out. We do have scans going down for both players, trying to get their tanks just within range to do damage, but unfortunately you can see that the damage line right there just out of range of these siege tanks. Same for these ones, which are just out of range, perfectly aligned around the curvature of these tanks. So very nice play by both players, keeping those tanks in just the right position to avoid any extra damage that doesn't need to occur. However, Mouse unfortunately has not scouted this location over here and could be in a little bit of trouble. Looks like Cheeseblock could be looking to transition back into battle cruisers. We saw this play in the first game, and it did ultimately garner Cheeseblock the victory, but I don't think he's in the same position he was before. He is backed up into his main here, and unfortunately with this tank line, he's not able to assert enough air control. I think he's just getting a little bit further behind with every blast of the siege tanks. Probably could bring some SCVs out here to do some repairs. These Marines pushing up, they're going to knock out that one siege tank. Was that a fair trade? I think so, because he's now able to push up into the main of Cheeseblock. These tanks going to push forward here, able to do a lot of damage. The Vikings now have free reign over these medevacs, which are just happily saying, please shoot me. And all the tanks pushing forward, but they are not able to attack because the ramp is blocked. Bad play there by Mouse, a little bit of a misclick. Needs to continue to move those tanks forward. These two Marines coming forward, all the SCVs being pulled off the line that were in here that should have been rallied to the other base long ago, and now the the siege tanks are able to do a lot of damage. We could see, however, the battle cruisers play a role here. We do see the fusion core. However, Mouse now sees that fusion core and does know that the potential for battle cruisers is underway. Many of the SCVs being transferred here. Oh, so many SCV kills there. Look at that. This tank, 13 kills. That one only 2. That one 7, 6, 20, and 8. Oh my goodness, so many kills from these players. Very, very nice play. However, he is losing several of the tanks now. The tanks are getting a little bit low on health simply because the unit's continuing to pump out from Cheeseblock here. But the siege tanks just really doing a lot of damage. We notice there are no upgrades on the siege tanks yet. I don't know if either player has gotten any upgrades. We have not been looking at the production tab, which is a little unfortunate. I do like to keep that open, but sometimes I do forget. We do have 2 starports finished, 2 more just now finishing. No tech labs on those just yet, but we do see a battle cruiser underway. I don't think he's going to be able to support it, though. However, he is only on 1 base. No gas mining from this refinery. This refinery, only 1 SCV is mining gas, and without a sufficient supply of gas, he's not going to be able to pump battle cruisers out of 4 refineries. I mean, excuse me, 4 refineries. 4 starports. That would just be absurd. So, way too many SCVs here mining. If we take a look over at the income tab, oh my goodness, we have a massive SCV tack. We do have 59 SCVs from Cheeseblock. I'm not sure what he plans to do here. Mouse with only 14 SCVs, I don't know what he's going to do. Some point, it looks like Cheeseblock did a drop and has done so much damage. I apologize that I totally missed that. We may have to go back and look at that at the end. So many Marines pushing up here, taking out the tech labs. The battle cruisers might not even be able to finish. He is doing mass repairs, but the siege tank's just blasting away. That starport does go down, and GG is called from Cheeseblock. So that is the end of the match. It looks like it is over. Cheeseblock just not able to hang in there, wasn't able to get those battle cruisers out fast enough, and really surprising with only 6 SCVs or 12 SCVs, Cheeseblock did lose the match, but I don't know, I think he could have actually come back and won this. He could have pushed around the base with this Marine Marauder force and I think done a lot of damage because it looks like, yeah, Mouse was down to only 10 minerals left, and with no mining going on, I mean, he was about to call down some mules here, but with no mining going on, I don't know what he would have been able to do. So unfortunately for him, I think that was not the right call to make. I think he could have done a lot more damage, and this force would have been slow and cumbersome making its way across the map. But it could have been ultimately over. That could have been the end of the match. I could just be foolishly talking and making absolutely no sense. So I do apologize. But hope you guys enjoyed this tournament. I really did enjoy casting it, and I really enjoyed learning about these players and watching each of them play. Especially the Terran players, as I am a Terran player myself. It is interesting to see how the siege tanks push out across the map. But definitely the tactics that were used by the Zerg players and the Protoss players, as I do occasionally play random, and it's nice to see how those players are effective with their attacks and effective with their builds. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to rate or comment. There is another tournament coming up in February, so if you're in the DFW, which is the Dallas-Fort Worth area in Texas, feel free to sign up. They are on Team Liquid, so they're on the tournament calendar, I believe, so feel free to take a look. If you guys feel like signing up, I would definitely love to cast the games with you guys in it. So I hope to have more games coming in the future, get back to my normal team game analysis. This was a tournament I just wanted to cast because I knew it hadn't been done yet. So I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks so much for keeping up with all the videos, and I'll see you guys next time.